Good day to anyone watching this video. I'm going to talk about nicotine addiction. This is my big theme project. Hopefully you guys learn something. So the history of tobacco is that it's been used for over 8,000 years. It used to, way back in the day, be thought to have medicinal properties. Which would probably attribute to the positive side effects of nicotine consumption. It was actually used by the natives as a gift for Christopher Columbus when he came over from, what was it, Spain? Anyway, the Native Americans gave Christopher Columbus tobacco as a gift. The consequences of smoking began to be documented in about the 16th, 17th, 18th century. Namely, difficulty breathing and coughing and things like that. Cigarettes were the main tobacco products sold in the 1900s, with rising popularity throughout, I think, the 50s, if I remember correctly. Nicotine is a colorless alkaline liquid, and it changes to a yellowish brownish color when exposed to air, which is why smokers' teeth is typically yellow or brown, depending on how heavy they smoke. Smokeless tobacco and smoked tobacco have different ways of delivering nicotine to the human body. Smokeless tobacco, the nicotine is dissolved into the tobacco leaf, and in cigarettes and cigars, nicotine actually attaches itself to small droplets of tar, which are inhaled and then metabolized by the body. Nicotine makes its way to the brain fairly quickly, 10 to 20 seconds, according to this picture that I found. Adrenaline, it releases adrenaline, heart rate and respiration increase, and arteries constrict. It also makes you more alert. Nicotine usage is backed up by the body's reward system. So what happens is the brain releases just tons and tons of dopamine, and the body actually, it's somewhere on the later, I'll just get to it now. The body, nicotine reduces the chemical responsible for breaking down dopamine, so there's just this overload of dopamine in the brain whenever you intake nicotine. It also attaches itself to acetylcholine receptors, and it stimulates them in place of acetylcholine, which is one thing that makes nicotine so addictive. It disrupts the regulation of acetylcholine in the body, and what happens is when you stop smoking or you stop intaking nicotine, it actually throws off those receptors because nicotine has been stimulating them for so long that the acetylcholine that should be there isn't. So now there's nothing stimulating those receptors, so your body says, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this, which is one thing that induces cravings for nicotine. Nicotine stimulates the hypothalamus, the thalamus, the midbrain, the brainstem, and the cerebral cortex. It also stimulates the area of the brain that regulates vigilance and stress, which is what causes you to be more alert when you smoke. The similarities that nicotine has to opiate dependence is actually the withdrawal symptoms. Most people can't quit cold turkey. Kind of have to step down until you get to a comfortable area where you can just quit. It also releases multiple neurotransmitters, including dopamine, norepinephrine, acetylcholine, glutamate, and serotonin. Not so much acetylcholine, I shouldn't have put that there. But it does dysregulate the chemicals in your brain, especially the happy chemicals and the chemicals that are involved in the reward system that your brain has. Nicotine induces stimulation and pleasure, reduces stress and anxiety, and short-term use, it improves concentration, reaction time, and performance. I believe that was cognitively, but over the long term, it can cause cognitive decline, and you're actually at an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's. The withdrawals can can onset between a few hours to a few days, and in some cases they even last a couple of months. They peak in the first few days, and the severity is different from person to person depending on, a lot of different factors, but one main factor would be the amount of nicotine that person is used to intaking. The withdrawal symptoms are irritability, depressed mood, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, increased hunger, insomnia, and cravings. In conclusion, nicotine is just not worth it. There are some short-term pleasurable effects, but they typically don't outweigh the negative side effects of nicotine use. And nicotine is only one thing that makes tobacco addictive. If I remember correctly, there's sweeteners in a lot of tobacco, so it's almost like it's engineered to make it to be addictive. On top of that, it's a known carcinogen, and there's a lot of carcinogens in tobacco. There's something like 4,000 chemicals in cigarettes, and a lot of them are carcinogens, so you're actually at an increased risk of cancer if you use tobacco. I hope you guys learned something. Here's my references.